to this church in Rome to offer their bodies as living sacrifices, holy and pleasing to God. Okay, you guys follow me? Okay. See, he didn't tell them, okay, I want you to sacrifice the things that you don't have. He didn't tell them, I want you to sacrifice your kids. He said, I want you to sacrifice your life in a holy and pleasing way. So let's stop and think about for a second, what is holiness? What is it? And the only thing that can come to my mind whenever I think about that word, holy, is being like Christ. You look at every definition of the word, it just doesn't, there's no way to truly define it because it's so complex.
No hay una forma definida de definir esta palabra. Es una palabra muy compleja.
Excepto
being
like Jesus.
Ser como Cristo.
A lot of times we get caught up in thinking
nos quedamos pensando
that wearing the suit,
estamos en
la chaqueta, that is holy. Right? If I'm walking in God's faith, right, in His perfect will, and I just took off my coat, does that make me less holy? Okay. I'm going to do something weird here. I promise they don't smell. I took 2 showers today. I took off my shoes. Does that make me unholy? No, right? So why is it, church, that when somebody that comes in through these doors looks different, we automatically think they're not holy? Why is it that the second that somebody comes in with a cap, maybe with some cut up jeans, or with a piercing on their ear, why do you think they're no longer holy? Because their holiness is not made by their outward appearance. It's made by who they are inside. It's made by the fact that they're following Christ. Yesterday I was at a leadership conference for youth, and it happened by accident. And I was like, God, this must be some sort of accident. And God goes, no, son, you're there for a reason. See, I thought it was, I'm going to go play in the band, I'm going to go play a song, and then we're going to get out of there. And God's like, no, I'm not bringing you so for you to bless them. I'm bringing you here for them to bless you. And I'm like, oh, snap. So you mean I'm not the one that's ministering here? No! It's God. It's God through that person that He picked. So when God goes and says, I want you, right? He tells Paul to tell them that I want you to live a living sacrifice. It's because when you start living a living sacrifice, you start pushing away what you want to do and start putting priority to what God wants to do. See, the sacrifice that God is talking about is the sacrifice of our times to be dedicated to Him.
es el sacrificio de nuestro tiempo que sea dedicado a Él.
If I'm in church
Si estoy en la iglesia
and I'm praying,
y estoy orando,
can I go out to the streets and steal anything?
¿puedo ir a la calle y robar?
If I'm in church
Si estoy en la iglesia
and I'm worshiping,
y estoy adorando,
can I be fornicating?
¿puedo estar fornicando?
No, because once you start renewing your mind in
Cuando
Christ,
empiezas a renovar tu mente en Cristo,
it no longer becomes about what you did wrong.
no se trata de lo que hiciste mal,
It becomes about what God is doing right in you and with
se trata de
you.
lo que Dios está haciendo bien en ti y contigo. Amén.
And the first thing that they told me in this conference was,
Lo primero que me dijeron en esta conferencia,
do you know what the early church did?
¿sabes lo que la iglesia primitiva hizo?
You get saved,
Tú te salvas,
and guess what you do?
¿y qué haces?
You go up to your homeboy.
Tú vas a tu amigo,
You want to be saved too?
¿quieres ser salva también?
Yo, I thought I was something. I thought I was garbage,
Yo pensaba que era basura,
but God saved me,
pero Dios me salvó.
so He can save you too, right?
Él te puede salvar a
Come
ti
on, let's
también.
go, let's go, let's go, and let's listen, right? Let's go. Come on, right? So now, guess what? Look at this.
¿Sabes qué?
The church of two
Ahora la iglesia de dos
just became the church of four.
es la iglesia de cuatro.
Why? Because instead of me going and
En
saying
vez de yo ir
and thinking,
y pensar,
oh, nah, I gotta be holy. I gotta read the Bible. Oh, no. I need to know every single verse in it. I need to know it to cover. No. I need to know everything.
tengo que saber todo.
Instead of me going
En vez de yo ir
and thinking that way,
y pensar de esa manera,
I just said, God changed me.
yo digo, Dios me cambió a mí.
So you want to get changed too?
¿Tú quieres que te cambie?
God made me right.
Dios me arregló.
He took this emptiness away.
Él sacó ese vacío de mí.
He took this pain away.
Él quitó ese dolor de mí.
Do you have pain?
¿Tienes dolor?
Do you want it to go away?
¿Quieres que se vaya?
Simple as that. Thanks. See, he goes and he does that, and I'm like, okay,
Él va y hace eso y yo digo, ok,
all right, God,
está bien, Dios.
I get it.
Ya entiendo.
You want me to tell everybody.
Quiere que le digan a todos.
Okay, let's keep going.
Vamos a seguir.
Do not conform to the pattern of this world. We're in verse 2.
No te conformas a los patrones de este mundo,
But be transformed by renewing your mind.
pero transfórmate renovando tu mente.
Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is.
Entonces podrás probar lo que es la voluntad de Dios,
His good, pleasing, and perfect will.
su palabra buena y perfecta.
¿Tienes tu pasión por las Escrituras? ¿Te gustaría profundizar en tu conocimiento de la palabra de Dios y entender por qué estás en la tierra y cómo mejor utilizar tus dones y talentos? Liderab es una escuela que te llevará a renovar tu entendimiento, alinearte con la palabra y comprender el propósito para el cual fuiste creado.
Little Lab para mí fue como un despertar. Yo crecí en el Evangelio bajo un concilio donde no me atrevía a cuestionar mucho las cosas que no entendía, sino que las aceptaba como las enseñanzas que eran. Pero cuando llegó Little Lab pude romper con muchas dogmas, muchas cosas que yo pensaba que eran correctas, pero que no eran correctas. Pude entender con profundidad cuál es la libertad de Cristo. Pude entender los conceptos de fe, la gracia de Dios, el orden de Dios. Cosas que uno escucha en las prédicas, pero no con tanta relevancia al mundo actual, en nuestras vidas. Little Lab aclaró muchas cosas que yo no entendía, versos que yo no entendía. Pude entender mi propia identidad como hija del reino. Pude entender lo que es Cristo en mí, la esperanza de gloria. Y pude ver la Biblia con otros lentes. Fue como ponerme lentes que aclararon tantas cosas en mí. Y ahora los versos como que tienen más color, más luz. Y puedo profundizar y entender mucho más de la naturaleza de Dios. Para mí fue una experiencia extraordinaria, fue iluminante y impactó y cambió mi vida por completo. Si no has tenido la experiencia de pasar por las enseñanzas de Little Lab, te animo que no pierdas más tiempo, sino que aproveches la oportunidad, porque tu vida espiritual va a cambiar, vas a acercarte más a Dios, vas a entender la naturaleza de Dios y por ende la naturaleza tuya, la que Él puso en ti. So, te animo a que no pierdas más tiempo y que te añades a la clase, que vas a aprender bastante. Dios te bendiga.
Las clases son impartidas el último martes y miércoles de cada mes. Para registrarte u obtener más información, envíanos un email info@casabetel.org o llamarnos al 973-287-6100.
But this word to conform is to be like everybody else,
Pero la palabra conformar quiere decir ser como todo el mundo.
to be normal.
Ser normal.
Say that one more time.
Ser normal.
Right? And here's the thing.
Y esta es la cosa.
If somebody were to tell me
Si alguien me dice
that being normal
que ser normal
is sleeping around,
es viviendo con varias personas,
doing drugs,
haciendo drogas,
smoking, drinking till I can't even think straight,
que no puedo pensar,
sleeping with everybody I see.
estoy con todas las mujeres que veo,
Not mujeres, everyone I see.
todo el mundo que veo.
Okay, just to throw that in there. Okay? Because here's the thing.
Esta es la cosa.
Here's the thing. It's conformity.
Es conformarse.
Because sometimes it's harder.
Porque a veces es más difícil.
I'm going to have to pick on my wife for a second. Come on up.
Para mi esposa,
Come on up. Sometimes it's harder
a veces es más difícil
to work on a relationship like this
trabajar en la relación de esta forma
and move forward together
y avanzar,
than to know
que saber
that you have to make a commitment
que tienes que hacer un compromiso
with somebody who thinks differently,
con alguien que piensa diferente,
walks differently,
camina diferente,
was raised differently,
creció, fue criada diferente
and acts differently
y actúa diferente
than you do.
que tú.
That's hard.
Eso es difícil.
I just got married and I'm already like, woo,
Yo acabo de casarme y ya estoy, ¡uh!
this is hard work.
Esto es mucho trabajo.
This is not easy.
Esto no es fácil.
They weren't kidding.
Me estaba jugando.
See, sometimes it's easier to go and say, I'm going to go and I'm going to sleep with this girl today.
A veces es más fácil decir lo que voy a tener relaciones con esta persona.
And I'm going to dump her and I'm going to move over here.
Voy a votar, me muevo para acá.
Sometimes it's easier to say, I'm going to have a kid with this one
A veces es más fácil decir voy a tener un hijo con esta
and then come over here to be with this one.
y dejar esta con la otra.
Sometimes it's easier to go and say, I'm going to be in church worshiping the Lord.
Voy aquí a estar alabando al Señor,
But instead of me being not normal,
pero en vez de ser no normal,
I'm going to be over here smoking and drinking and partying. Woo! Right?
festejando, bebiendo, fumando,
But once again,
pero otra vez,
God says, do not conform
Dios dice, no te conformes
to the pattern of this world.
a los patrones de este mundo.
He says, be transformed
Él dice que seas transformado,
by renewing your mind.
renovando tu mente.
And guess what?
¿Sabes qué?
That conformity that I just talked about,
Ese conformismo
it applies to us.
aplica a nosotros.
Don't be conforming
No te conformes
by just doing this
haciendo eso
all Sunday.
todos los domingos.
Don't be conforming
No te conformes
by coming in those doors,
entrando por esa puerta,
sitting down,
sentándote
and then walking out like nothing
y
happened.
saliendo como que nada pasó.
Don't conform by being
No te conformes siendo
religious. Because guess what?
porque ¿sabes qué?
It's real easy for me to be religious.
Es bien fácil yo ser religioso.
David, come on, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna mess with you now. And be like, oh no, esto tiene cuchillo en su camisa. Ay no,
I'm gonna say,
este es el del diablo.
that's the devil.
No.
No,
Thanks, David. It's real easy
es muy fácil
to go and be like, Gloria, Gloria en lo alto.
Sing glory in the highest.
And be like, diantre, esa sí se ve fea hoy.
So,
It's easy.
muy fácil.
Now,
Ahora,
it becomes a lot harder
es más difícil
when you have to worship up here,
cuando tienes que adorar acá,
when you have to preach to your
cuando
neighbors,
tienes que predicarle a tus vecinos
and you gotta live it.
y tienes que vivirlo.
It's a lot harder
Es más difícil
to go and lead people
guiar a la gente
than to just be like, yeah, I'm a Christian.
y decir, oh, sí, yo soy cristiano.
And guess what?
¿Y sabes qué?
You know what the first part about being a Christian is?
¿Sabes que lo primero de ser cristiano?
We're supposed to lead them.
Estamos supuestos a guiarlos.
We're supposed to lead the people that don't know about Christ to Christ.
Estamos supuestos a guiar a la gente que no conoce a Cristo.
We're supposed to take that neighbor that doesn't know anything,
Tenemos que hablarle a ese vecino que no sabe de Dios.
and we're supposed to patiently
Y estamos supuestos a pacientemente
say, come on, man.
decirles, ven,
You want to come to church?
¿quieres venir a la iglesia?
You crazy?
¿Estás loco?
Come on, man.
Ven.
Nah, I don't go there.
No, yo no voy.
And that neighbor leaves.
Y ese vecino se va.
Then 2 days later, you go back to that neighbor.
A los 2 días tú regresas y vas a donde el vecino.
Hey, man, you want to come to church?
Oye, ¿quieres venir a la iglesia conmigo?
And that neighbor goes,
Y el vecino dice,
no.
no.
Now, let's skip ahead.
Ahora vamos a avanzar.
We started over there.
Empecé allá,
This is 2 years later.
2 años después.
2 years later, you've been, hey, neighbor, you want to come to church?
2 años vienes diciéndole al vecino, ¿quieres venir a la iglesia?
Nah.
No.
But guess what?
¿No sabes qué?
That neighbor started over there.
Ese vecino empezó allá,
And now he's over
pero
here.
está acá.
And God is right there.
Y Dios está aquí.
Doesn't that mean he's closer?
¿No quiere decir que está más cerca?
That one is not mine. That one was the guy who I went to
Ese
see.
fui yo. Ese fue el que ministró ayer.
But I had to say this
Pero tenía que decir eso
because God literally said,
porque Dios literalmente dijo,
your church needs to hear this.
la iglesia necesita oír eso.
Don't be disheartened
No te canses
that you're over here still
o no te enojes
when you just started yesterday.
cuando empezó ayer.
Because guess what? There's somebody here
Porque sabes que hay alguien aquí
that's been working for years
que tiene años trabajando
and never gave up.
y nunca se dio por vencido.
And then there's those people that are right
A
here,
esos que están aquí,
and if we decide to give up
y si decidimos darnos por vencidos
and not just take the extra step and be patient,
y no tomar ese paso,
even though they're right here,
porque estén ahí mismo,
they might turn around
quizás se den la
and walk back the other way.
y se vayan al otro lado.
That's why we have to continue to renew our minds, to understand what the Lord is trying to tell us.
Por eso tenemos que continuar renovando nuestras mentes.
He doesn't want us to judge other people.
Dios no quiere que juzguemos a otra gente.
He wants us to love other people.
Él quiere que amemos a otras personas.
He doesn't want us to be religious.
Él no quiere que seamos religiosos.
He wants us to be like Christ.
Él quiere que seamos como Cristo.
When Christ was at the well
Cuando Jesús o Cristo estaba en el pozo
and the lady came over to him
y vino la samaritana
and he sees this lady,
y ve a esta mujer
and he goes,
y le dice,
haven't you had like 5 husbands?
¿no has tenido como 5 esposos?
It's all right though. I'm gonna love you anyways. Come on.
No, está bien, yo te amo.
Go get your friends. Tell them what's happened here. Show them what Jesus' love
Dile lo
is.
que ha pasado aquí,
You've been forgiven of all those
que
sins.
Jesús te ha perdonado.
Now let's start walking forward and
Vamos a caminar.
let's go into greatness together.
Vamos a entrar a lo sobrenatural.
Jesus could have been like,
Jesús te puede decir,
girl, you had 5 husbands. You ain't worthy.
5 maridos.
But he didn't do that.
Pero él no hizo eso.
He said, come on,
Le dijo, ven,
come on,
ven,
come on.
ven.
He used this thing that I'm about to read now.
Él usó esto que voy a leer ahora.
Verse 3 says,
Versículo 3 dice,
for by the grace given me, I say to every one of you. I want you to turn to your neighbor and say, grace.
sobre gracia.
You can't earn it.
No puedes ganártela.
You can't buy it.
No puedes comprarla.
You can't kill somebody else for it.
No puedes matar a otro para tomarla.
You can't win it in an election.
No la puedes ganar en una elección.
It comes to you by Christ.
Viene por gracia.
It comes to you by saying, you know what?
Llega a ti.
I want to follow this guy named Jesus.
Estoy diciendo, voy a seguir a ese hombre que se llama Jesús.
And the second that you do that conscious decision,
Y el momento que tú tomas esa decisión conscientemente,
that truly conscious decision,
esa decisión consciente,
you're saved.
estás salvo.
Just like that.
Así, de simple.
Boom.
Boom.
From here, no, let's go over here. From here,
De aquí
you could be like,
puedes estar.
my life's a mess.
Mi vida está un desastre.
Or you could be like,
O puede.
I'm a rock star billionaire that plays every Saturday,
Que toca
14 shows a week.
14 eventos cada semana.
Okay, so I do one in the morning, one at night.
Hago una mañana y una noche.
I make billions, forget millions. I'm a billionaire. I got every car you could think of.
Tengo todos los carros que puedas imaginarte.
But I'm empty inside
Pero estoy vacío por dentro.
because I don't have Christ.
Porque no tengo a Cristo.
I could walk and be the biggest, baddest, coolest, whatever you want to call me.
De que tiene todo.
And without Christ,
Pero sin Cristo,
you feel empty.
te sientes vacío.
You could be married with 15 kids
Pueden estar casados con 15 niños
and still feel lonely
y sentirte solo.
because you still don't have Jesus.
Porque todavía no tienes a Jesús.
So what happens is,
Entonces lo que pasa es,
when people start understanding this idea of grace,
cuando la gente empieza a entender esa idea de la gracia,
they say, wait a minute,
dicen, espera un momento.
I can finally be happy?
Yo puedo ser finalmente feliz.
I just got to understand who Jesus is.
Solo tengo que entender quién es Jesús.
Somebody tells me that, I don't care how much money I have. I'm going to be like, I'll leave it all.
No importa cuánto dinero tenga. Yo me voy.
I'm happy over here, sad over there.
Triste allá.
Happy over here, sad over there.
Triste allá.
So when we go and people come through that door,
Entonces cuando hay gente que entra por esa puerta,
we got to understand
tenemos que entender
and have the
y
mentality
tener la mentalidad
that they might be right here.
que quizás estén acá.
And the reason why they're coming in
Y la razón por la cual están llegando
is because they've been looking for over there this whole time.
porque están buscando llegar allá.